So excuse my garage. Before we start this video, I think this is really cool. So I got this mini microphone thing, wireless lavalier microphone, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not trying to sell anything, I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just letting you know what I got from TikTok. You know how much this thing costs? $5. You get two of them. So you see the little lights already on? You get two of them and you get the fuzzy on top for like if you're outside for the wind, it won't, you won't hear the wind. And then you got this, what is that, a sponge thingy? Uh, and I guess it sounds really good. I noticed some of my videos. Hold on. Excuse me if this sounds loud. I noticed on some of the videos it's can't really hear me. So I actually like this thing. $5. I don't even think I paid for shipping. If I did, it was probably like $2. And I got it with, well, this one, you got to be careful. If you go on TikTok, you got to be careful because I've noticed that I bought one, right? And it got here like 2 days later. I'm not kidding. But I got the wrong one. It had uh, it was for an iPhone. And I didn't realize what I selected. So you have to select the correct one. So I got the C one for the Android, the C adapter. Problem is that it took, well, it's not a problem, but it took like, I'm not kidding, like more than a week, maybe almost 2 weeks, and I almost even forgot about it. But I got it. $5? Wow, dude, it sounds really, really good. Good price. All right, so let me share something with you guys that I found again in one of the blogs that I uh, look in, I at times look in to see if there's anything posted, and I found a letter from Spencer from Visions of Glory, and I will reveal the real name into this video. You might already know who he is. The name was already revealed not too long ago, a while back actually. I don't know how long ago it was, but I probably knew like maybe no more than a year. But I'm sure many of you probably already knew who he is. His name is actually Thomas Harrison, I believe. A letter to the leaders of the church or whoever is wanting to know what his experience with Visions of Glory. Now I know a lot of you guys like this book, and there's many of you that do not like this book. Some of you guys are criticized the book without even reading it. So, by you might have gone by what you've heard or experiences other people had that made you question, whoa, maybe this is not a good book. I read the book when it first came out. I was interested in reading it. Back in those days when it first came out, I didn't find anything that I can remember wrong with it. Again, I was freshly a new member, anyways. I don't know when did the book come out. I forget, but I was freshly new still, and when I read the book, I didn't find anything at the time. I did find it very helpful. There's a lot of things in there that I didn't um, like when it came to the last days and stuff like that. In that book, I didn't really get into like, oh wow, this is how it's going to be or whatever. I just thought it was interesting. What I did find helpful in that book is um, how bad spirits get involved in your life, and when it comes to like pornography and things like that. it really helped me a lot. It helped me understand. And speaking of that, evil spirits, I had a very bad experience last night. I didn't, I haven't gone through that for a while, but I do time and time again. It happens to me a lot. But it's been a while that I experienced it. But this time was a lot more different. Many of you guys might um, know this or may not know this. I did make a video about this. I believe my last video was about this topic. And yeah, I it's every time when I try to do something good, it's I tend to get attacked. So yesterday at work, some girl was talking about how she thinks the Ouija board and all that other stuff is very interesting, and that she is always tempted to do it and get into that all that, but she's always scared. Hold on, let me see what time is it. Because I do have to get it. Okay. Um, she's always tempted to take it, check it out, tarot cards, whatever you call those things. And it's just like, nah, you know what? Be careful. You don't know what you're messing with. A lot of people tend to be curious, but once you really feel that presence or get that experience, you really do not want to mess with that. But there are people out there that do like that stuff, even if, I don't know, the demons become your friend or something. But so I didn't think anything of it. We talked about it for a good while, and then we had to stop, or I had to stop talking about it because people were coming into our break room, and I didn't want to have that kind of discussion because she was kind of loud about it. So I wanted it to be more private. But I left it as that. I told her to mess with it because I had my own experiences. But anyways, I got home, whatever, didn't think anything of it. Had a very tiring day. And when it was time to go to bed, I was getting these bad attacks. And it's kind of like you're half asleep and you're not asleep. And it was just really extreme. But this time it was like a lot. I felt a presence of a lot of evil spirits. And usually it's just, I feel like it's just one most of the time, all the time actually. But this time I felt like there was a many evil spirits around. And I just, my wife knew I was having supposedly a bad dream or something, but it wasn't. I was, like I said, half and half, half asleep and half awake. And she doesn't necessarily wake me up unless it's really, really bad. But I was going through it pretty bad. She just probably didn't. I don't know. And I go once when I woke up the first time. Well, I don't want to say wake up either because again, I was half and half. But I got up and I said, "Hey man, when I'm going through that, you gotta wake me up." She goes, "You always go through that." I go, "Yeah, but it's been a while and just wake me up." And she goes, whatever, and she goes to sleep. And sometimes she does like snap me out of it when I'm like going through that, and she's just like she can't bear it because she knows I'm fighting um whatever it is that I'm going through, right? And I know what they are. I whatever I go through, I see what's happening in that situation. And this situation was very bad. It was like I felt a tremendous amount of evil spirits around in the room specifically because I've been thinking about this a lot. I feel like there's a lot of demons around right now everywhere. People do not realize it's happening, even in their own homes. I've been going through a lot of anger lately at work. There's a lot of jealousy going on, a lot of people talking mess, trying to get people in trouble. And I'm one of those people that they've been trying to get rid of, uh, meaning the employees, because they're kind of jealous of me because I get along with the supervisors. I work hard. I don't mess around. And I don't know. I guess it's jealousy, and they just keep talking mess. So I've been going through a lot at work, sorry. And it's giving me a lot of anger because of all what's happening at work. But anyways, I think it has a lot to do with me not reading the Book of Mormon enough. I feel like I need to read the Book of Mormon and focus, dive into it because yeah, we go to church and then we go through the lessons and all that and I read here and there, but I just don't dive in. Like I don't do my own peace, in order for you to receive peace, you gotta like, not just go by the lesson and just go and okay, you're done with the lesson. If they need me to teach the lesson, I'm ready to teach it. No, I need to dive in and then like get that relationship with God, you know what I mean? But I've been working so much and I'm so tired and I can look for any excuse, but it's just like I'm ready, I'm just exhausted and I just haven't done it. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But anyways, I'm going back to what I was going through. I got up, I sat up and I told my wife, okay, it's too much. I feel a tremendous amount of evil spirits. And I never tell her this. She knows I'm going through it. She knows that what it is, but I never tell her at that moment, hey, there's like a lot of evil spirits right now. I don't tell her that. I just like, oh, I can't sleep. I got to get up or I pray to myself. But this time it was so bad that I said, I got up and I said, hey, uh, honey, I'm about to cast out any evil spirits because it's really bad right now. She goes, okay. So I did the ordinance, casting it out, and I said, okay, now I can go to bed. Because I already know that's all I need to do, and I'm just going to go to bed. And I went to bed and I knocked out and I was good. So I'm pretty sure in the morning, right now she's sleeping because she's got to go to work later on tonight. But when she gets up, she's going to be like nothing happened because, again, I go through it all the time. All right, so let's go back to the video that I want to talk about because this is about Spencer and actually Thomas Harrison, who I've heard that he was a bishop at one point. I don't know if that's true or not, but this book became very, very popular. And so people got uh, into some weird stuff after reading this book, I believe. Not only that, with people like Julie Rowe and things like that. Um, who is it? Ruby Frank. All these weird people, these extreme myths that you would want to say, that they gone beyond the mark and they went on their own ways. And I feel like they were influenced by evil spirits big time. And so people like them give a big, bad, huge, bad name of the church because it gets so far, so beyond that people start thinking, man, this church, man, I'm telling you, I don't know, they might be messing with the devil or something like that. But I honestly believe I don't know if the book itself does that because maybe there's something in there that's probably influenced people to do things. I don't know. I have no idea. It's been a long time I haven't read this book, but would I recommend this book now? No, not really. I don't. What for? To be honest, because this is about a visions that someone had, and it's their personal visions, things that has supposedly been revealed to this person. However, let me drink my drink, my energy drink. I know you guys are against this, but I'm not. I keep looking at it and I'm thirsty. Um, I what was I saying about the book? I just don't feel there's a need for this book. It did help me understand how evil spirits work, what they do, what goes on when you're doing something. Like for example, the pornography. This There's a vision of a man watching pornography, and then that this um, what's his name again? Thomas was seeing evil spirits coming out of him, coming in, yelling at him, screaming at him to do this and do that, keep watching this and that. And I kind of understood that, like, yeah, you know what, that does make sense that they do that. Like, that's probably what is happening. You just have no idea how influenced these spirits can be to a person. So no, I do not recommend this book at all because personally, there's a lot of in there that okay, we don't know that. Like my dreams, same thing. My dreams, I had dreams of war, very um what's the word I'm looking for? It's very specific things that happen, things have been revealed to me, and there's a lot of things that I have not shared on there, but I shared most of it, and I don't expect it to happen like that exactly. It could, I don't know, but it was revealed to me personally. When I had those dreams, I felt like it was kind of like, okay, let the people know, tell them this might be coming, um, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I just shared it because I felt like I had to share it. I don't know. I'm not saying the Lord told me, hey, share these dreams, give them to you because of that. No, I'm not saying that at all. I feel inspired to share them. As you know, look what's happening now. Does it look like we're gonna have war? Does it look like we're gonna get invaded? Oh yeah, it does, right? So, um, I still believe that something of will happen from what I've dreamt. Um, I'm still trying to figure out certain things that happened in the dream, that why it was happening, and I'm kind of now thinking why, but I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm not gonna share it because I don't want to go into those details anymore with you guys, because it's like I'm not trying to tell you guys this is what's gonna happen, and I'm not trying to interpret anything anymore. Why? Because things like this. Let me read this. This is a letter from Spencer Thomas Harrison that he actually wrote to, and I think this is a snippet of a letter of the letter. I don't even know if the whole thing's in there. But let me this was actually shared in a group on Facebook. And I'm not going to share the name of the group because it's very, do not go in those some of those groups, because I'm not even in that group. I was at one point, and I got out of there because again, it's things that are like, I don't know, this is very dangerous. I shouldn't even be in there. But so I got out of it. But it was shared in there, and it was copied and pasted into this blog. And so let me go ahead and share it with you. It says, "What does this group think about the Visions of Glory book, seeing as how it has been linked to so many extremist people like lately, like Chad Daybell, Lori Vallau, Julie Rowe, Jody Hildebrandt, and Ruby Frank? I never read it when I was first told about it because it just gave me a bad feeling. And now we have seen Thomas Harrison, who was Spencer in the book, come out and separate himself from the book." It says, edit. For those of you that ask, here is a letter written by Tom to his priesthood leaders in March 2014 regarding Visions of Glory. So this is a book. I mean, this is a letter written 10 years ago. So yeah, I was baptized in 2012. So again, I was new as a member. So yeah, I did not know this letter was out. So I just barely read it this morning, and I'm sharing it to you now. So let me go ahead and read this. Thomas Gene Harrison, March 23, 2014, regarding Visions of Glory. To whom it may concern, and my priesthood leaders as now constituted. After meeting with my stake president on this 23rd day of March 2014, I write this letter to disclose my feelings and present opinions of the book Visions of Glory. which was published by Cedar Ford Publishing Corporation or Company on December of 2012. I disclose that I am Spencer, the person whom the majority of this account is written about. I have been asked to discuss the origins and my present feelings associated with this book. Now remember, this is 2014. And as I was reading something, oh yeah, I'm only sharing this because I know a lot of you guys are maybe have not, like I said, I didn't even know there was a letter like this. And you guys are probably wondering about this book, and or people that are criticizing, is it true about the book and all that? And let me show you what he thinks about this book, about his supposed visions, right? So it's coming from the horse's mouth. I first met John Pontius via a person whom I met when she was in her youth. Now I don't know if that's right. Why would he say she? But whatever. she she and John's daughter had moved into the same ward in Colorado. She thought that he and I had shared many similar experiences from our mutual years of illness. My three near death experiences, that that I that it, that it would be good for us to meet. After our first meeting, I was pleased to speak with John, an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who had the capacity to talk openly about these things we had in common, which much of these things I had kept to myself for a number of years. It was refreshing to be able to speak openly of these things with him. Shortly after our first meeting, John suggested that these experiences should be written down, even if it were just for my posterity. This concept was initially contrary to everything I had been taught and had been read about regarding the sharing of sacred experiences with others. We continued to talk, and I began to see the possible purpose in having this record for my family. John was a published author of many books dealing with LDS church topics. John assisted me by sharing his insights into the things I spoke with him about. Many of these experiences I shared with him I had and seen when I was very ill over a protracted period of time. In hindsight, I see far more clearly that it would have been better to follow the counsel of Elder Neil Maxwell, a member of our ward, not the general authority, when he said to me, "Brother Tom, do not try and interpret these things to read into them. Do not try to interpret these things or read into them." He counseled me that I should wait to see and experience these things in the proper time of the Lord. So that's a very good counsel. Like when I dream something, why should I share it right away? Or visions or whatever it is, or promptings that we get. Why do we want to share them right away and try to interpret them or read into them so much? Why don't you just wait and see experience these things in the proper timing of the Lord? Because why? Because then you look like an idiot trying to interpret things, and maybe it's now it didn't happen, and then you look like a fool, and then you're a false prophet. That is the best way to do it, and I should have followed that counsel. But now that I read this, so true. It was not until I attended a leadership meeting at my state center when I heard our present prophet, President Thomas S. Monson, tell us as priesthood leadership that we needed to share more openly our testimonies and special sacred experiences with our friends. I've always felt um, that it was okay. A lot of people would disagree because other prophets or apostles, or whatever you want to say, leaders have said no to this. I was not in this meeting. I don't know, but I've always felt that it was good to do it. Just don't interpret. or things like that, right? Or say it's going to happen. Don't be trying to be a prophet, trying to prophesy stuff, right? Um, Let me continue. So it says, share openly our testimonies and special sacred experiences with our friends, families, and fellow saints on social media and in writing. Now, I don't know about that. Social media, I don't know about all of that, but maybe Thomas S. Monson meant something different more than, not, I don't know. And in writing to strengthen one another by that which we have experienced. I do believe writing would be good, kind of like a diary. I have a lot written down myself. After hearing this counsel, only then did I start to think maybe John Pontius was, I don't know if I pronounced it right, was right, and that I should express these experiences to strengthen those who might read of these things, that they might remind them that God cares for each of us and is mindful of us. It was at this time that I El- also read Elder Melvin Ballard's experience with a personal visitation with Christ, and also read of Elder Height's story of seeing Christ in Gethsemane. I can still say that. I prayed expressively about this, and after these experiences, believing maybe the brethren had relaxed their view regarding disclosure, I agreed to disclose a portion of these things to John and go forward from there in association with what would become of these communications. I knew John had terminal cancer and he would leave my life as quickly as he had come into it. In hindsight, believing John would pass away before this book would ever see the light of day. After 50 hours of meeting with John Pontius, he asked uh, if he could share some chapters of what he had written with his publisher, Cedar Fort. He did so, and they were reluctant to publish them, stating there would not be an audience for such a story. They told John that if they did publish the book, they would start with about 550 copies of the manuscript. However, they did not think there would be a market for this book. I believed them. I believed them, and after consulting with John about this thinking, knowing that this was their business, not mine, and they must be familiar with what sells and what does not sell. I believed at best maybe a few copies would sell and John would have his last wish before departing this life. From the complications associated with this terminal intestinal cancer, John had a blog spot, Unblog Me. Oh wait, Unblog My Soul. That's the name of the blog, where I believed a few of his faithful readers would read such a book as this. It would be a flash in the pan and then done. John continued to work on the book, and sorry, I, I think the elevation of this thing here can't really read. John continued to work on the book and sent me manuscripts to edit and comment on. We were doing this all electronically, and I believed he was receiving all of my comments and changes as I sent them. I surprisingly learned after his death in December of 2012, when I was finally given a copy of the published book, that many of my corrections and the entire last editing of Visions of Glory had not either been received by the publisher, or that John, in his profound state of illness in those last few weeks of his suffering, did not include. Realizing after reading the published book for the first time that this was a joint effort and I would estimate that a third of the book was John's interpretation of what I had seen or experienced, or even that more of the content of the book was the facility that an author needs to use to place these experiences into a context and a storyline scenario. John also added to the book things which he had seen experienced which were different from that which I had experienced. I have no need or do not want to give the impression that I am throwing John Pontius under the bus. However, I can only be responsible to that which I actually related to him and experienced for myself. The remainder is John's work, capacity for writing, and his placing my experiences into an appropriate context and storyline. From the start, I do not or have not seen myself or Visions of Glory, the book, as attempting to speak for the church or saying this is in any way doctrinal or a true account of what we as a people have in store for us. It was and it was and is experiences given to me alone, not meant to be generalized into what will happen to the church or people as a whole. I believe much of it is a metaphor or analogy and should be seen as such. I believe that it should be seen that way. It is and has been just what I saw, my own experience, not always depicted as I saw or experienced it, but more as a writer would take a story and try to flesh it out for the reading public. At this time of my life, I wished I would have kept it all to myself. That Visions of Glory, the book, was just those experiences one man had, and had no one else had ever read this account. It has caused me great grief, despair, family discord, public ill treatment, derision, and criticism. I have learned that when we undertake to cast sacred things before the masses, that they turn and rend you, and that the rending is very severe. There are doctrinal incorrect aspects of the book, some being my perception and some being errors in the transmissions of the work, some out of my or John's misinterpretation of what was being said or what was shown to me. It is difficult for two minds to have complete accuracy in trying to explain what was seen into words that convey the true meaning of what was shown. It is my intent to not speak of this account any further other than this letter. I do not have the rights to this work. They belong to the Pontius family. So I have no power to stop the printing of this book. Dang, that's messed up. So there you go, Pontius family, or however you want to pronounce the last name. Take it down. Take it down. Under no circumstances did John or I ever mean or conspire, deceive, or acquire gain from these sacred things. Our hope was to lift, bless, and bring people to Christ. If asked about this work, I will give those who inquire a copy of this letter. I will not give firesides or presentations regarding this book. I hold my membership in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as my most prized possession. I apologize for any injury or misunderstanding this has caused the church, my family, or any individual associated with this book. I am sorry for any offense this has caused any member. Sincerely, Thomas G. Harrison. So there you go. I mean, for those who share this book as doctrine, as that's how it's going to be, that's how it's going to end, or you can accept the fact, unless this is a made up letter, but I don't think so. I personally do not think so. but I could be wrong. I don't know. Should take down your videos or whatever about them. I don't know. Now you should probably focus on what is true. This is why I mean, to me, honestly, if you guys ever, when I've shared my dreams before, or when I share my thoughts, don't ever take them as, doctrine, or this is it. I'm correct. You are wrong. And this is how it's going to be. This is why I don't like this thing about how many members have many YouTube channels and blogs and what they share on social media. It In some ways it's good. Don't get me wrong. It is good, but man, I found I hate to say, have I seen more bad than good? I would I would I think I seen more good, but there's a lot of bad in there. And this is why people like Julie Rowe and things like that, that really go beyond the mark and seek for gain or something, or they're deceived and they're deceiving others. And this is why it's so dangerous. This is so dangerous. But there you go. If you're ever wondering if the visions of glory was true or whatever, I'm sure there's a lot of good in there and a lot of true doctrine in there. But even he himself said there's a lot of things that are false and it's not doctrinal. So I don't know. Anyways, I thought I'd share that. I had to get my oil change. I personally did like the book at the time. I didn't really get into all the details of doctrine in there. I personally did not find anything that would be like, oh my gosh, that is so false. That was a long time ago. If I read it now, I would probably find it. Um, Again, I was freshly member of the church. It did help me in some ways, but I did not get go any further. I didn't, not like these other people that um, went beyond the mark and try to, they went so far, so deep that even Satan deceived them. I mean, big time, and it's still happening. And even though, I mean, people like Julie Rowe she will not, and even if she got uh, what you call it, excommunicated, she will still hold on to that she is right. And I don't know, maybe she is messed up in the head. I don't know, or she's just wants followers. She wants power. I don't know. Anyways, thought I'd share it. There you go. Take it what you want. I'll see you guys later. Take care.